Harlem Renaissance created a new Black cultural identity. Alan Locke called it a spiritual coming of age, where Black social disillusionment was transformed into racial pride. He went on to explain that Negro life seized its first chances to promote racial expression and self-determination. By expanding and enriching the Black experience, the work of the Harlem Renaissance challenged stereotypes, took over problematic representations, and redefined how America and the world viewed African Americans. Talented writers like James Weldon Johnson, Zora Neale Hurston, Langston Hughes, John Toomer, County Cullen, and many others constructed writing and literature about the nature of the Black experience that became one of the most significant cultural movements in American history. Now we're going to enjoy just a little bit of that literature. I have two fabulous students from the University of Iowa. I'm going to introduce both of them, and then one will come up and then the other will come up. Kylan Phillips is a junior at the university. He's majoring in theater and screenwriting. And Sophia Polking is a sophomore at the university. She's a pre-med major with a minor in theater. Please welcome our two, well, one of them's gonna come up. Let's have Kylan come up first, and then Sophia come up. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kylan Phillips. I'm going to be reading two poems for you and then a short excerpt from a short story by Nella Larson. The first poem that I'm going to read is by Langston Hughes. It's called I Too. It was written in 1926. Langston Hughes is a poet, a novelist, a playwright, and social activist known for his insightful descriptions of Black life during the Harlem Renaissance. And I begin. I, too, sing America. I'm the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes. But I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow, I'll be at that table when company comes. Nobody will dare say to me, eat in the kitchen, then, because they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am America. Thank you. This next poem is called Oriflamme by Jessie Redmond Fawcett. She's been called a midwife of the Harlem Renaissance because in addition to being an author and poet herself, she nursed the careers of prominent authors like Langston Hughes, Jean Toomer, and Claude McKay. I can remember when I was little, young girl, how my old mammy would sit out of doors in the evenings and look up at the stars and groan. And I would say, Mammy, what makes you groan so? And she would say, I am groaning to think of my poor children. They do not know where I be, and I do not know where they be. I look up at the stars, and they look up at the stars. Sojourner Truth. I think I see her sitting, bowed and black, stricken and seared with slavery's mortal scars, reft of her children, lonely, anguished, yet still looking at the stars. Symbolic mother, we thy myriad sons, pounding our stubborn hearts on freedom's bars, clutching our birthright, fight with faces set, still visioning the stars. Thank you. Next, I'll be reading an excerpt from the short story by Nella Larson. It's called Passing. This was published in 1929. Larson was a novelist and short story writer. Passing is the story of two Black women who experience different relationships. One marries a Black man and the other marries a white man. And we begin. Hello, Nig. What's his greeting to Claire? Gertrude, who had started slightly, settled lit back and looked covertly towards Irene, who had caught her between her teeth and sat gazing at husband and wife. It was hard to believe that even Claire Kendry would permit this ridiculing of her race by an outsider, though he chanced to be her husband. So he knew then that Claire was a Negro? From her talk the other day, Irene had understood that he didn't, but How rude and how positively insulting for him to address her in that way in presence of guests. In Claire's eyes, as she presented her husband, was a queer gleam. A jeer, it might be. Irene couldn't define it. She inquired, "Did you hear what Jack called me?" "Yes," Gertrude answered, laughing with a dutiful eagerness. Irene didn't speak. Her gaze remained level on Claire's smiling face. The black eyes fluttered down. "Tell them, dear. Why do you call me that?" The man chuckled, crinkling up his eyes, and he explained, "Well, you see, it's like this. When we were first married, she was as white as a lily. But I declare she's getting darker and darker. I tell her if she don't look out, she'll wake up one of these days and find out she's turned into a nigger." He roars with laughter. Claire's ringing bell-like laugh joined his. Gertrude, after another uneasy shift in her seat, added a shrill one. Irene laughed on and on and on, long after the others had subsided, until catching sight of Claire's face, and at once she stopped. Claire handed her husband his tea and laid her hand on his arm with an affectionate little gesture. Speaking with confidence as well as with amusement, she said, "My goodness, Jack, what difference would it make if, after all these years, you were to find out that I was 1 or 2% colored?" John Bellow put out his hand in a repudiating fling, definite and final. "Oh, no, nig," he declared. "Nothing like that with me. I know you're no nigger, so it's all right. You can get as black as you as far as I'm concerned, since I know you're no nigger. I'll draw the line at that. No niggers in my family. Never have been and never will be." Claire, for a short moment, had the sensation of gazing into the eyes of some creature, utterly strange and apart. Gertrude said humorously, "So you dislike Negroes, Mr. Bellew." But her amusement was at her thought, rather than her words. Bellew gave a short, denying laugh. "You got me wrong there, Mr. Redfield. Nothing like that at all. I don't dislike them. I hate them. And so does Nig, for all she's trying to turn into one. She wouldn't have a nigger maid around her for love nor money. Not that I'd want her to, they give me the creeps." That wasn't funny. Had Bellew, Irene inquired, ever known any Negroes? Bellew answered, "Thank the Lord, no, and never expect to. But I know people who've known them better than they know their black selves. And I read in the papers about them always robbing and killing people. Jack, dear, I'm sure Irene doesn't care to hear about all your pet aversions, nor Gertrude either. Maybe they read papers too, you know?" She smiled on him, and her smile seemed to transform him, to soften, and to mellow him, as the rays of sun does a fruit. "Nig, old girl, I'm sorry," he apologized. Reaching over, he playfully touched his wife's pale hands, then turned back to Irene. "Didn't mean to bore you, Mrs. Redfield. Hope you'll excuse me," he said sheepishly. "More tea, Reen?" Claire offered. "Thanks? No. And I must be going. I'm leaving tomorrow, you know, and I still got packing to do." They made their way through the lobby without speaking. But as soon as they had reached the street, Gertrude burst out. "My God, what an awful chance. She must be plumb crazy." "Yes, it certainly seems risky," Irene admitted. Gertrude insisted. "I'd never in the world have married Fred without him knowing. You can't tell what will turn up." "Yes, I do agree it's safer to tell," Gertrude shook. "I wouldn't be in her shoes for all the money she's getting out of it. When he finds out, not with him feeling the way he does. Gee, wasn't it awful? For a minute, I was so mad that I could have slapped him. Thank you."
All right, hello. My name is Sophia Polkine, and I am a sophomore here on the pre-med track. I will also be reading 2 poems and an excerpt from a short story. The first is No Images. William Warren Cuney was a poet and musician. In 1926, No Images won first prize in a national poetry contest, and it was later turned into a song by Nina Simone in 1966. She does not know her beauty. She thinks her brown body has no glory. If she could dance naked under palm trees and see her image in the river, she would know. But there are no palm trees on the street, and dishwater gives back no images. The next poem that I will be reading is If We Must Die by Claude McKay. Claude McKay is a Jamaican-American writer and poet. If We Must Die was written to defend Black rights and challenge prejudice and abuse. It was written in 1919 during the Red Summer. If we must die, let it not be like hogs, hunted and penned in an inglorious spot, while round us bark the mad and hungry dogs, making their mock at our accursed lot. If we must die, oh, let us nobly die, so that our precious blood may not be shed in vain. Then, even the monsters we defy shall be constrained to honor us, though dead. O kinsmen, we must meet the common foe. Though far outnumbered, let us show us brave. And for their 1,000 blows, deal one death blow. What though before us lies the open grave? Like men, we'll face the murderous, cowardly pack, pressed to the wall, dying, but fighting back. The last piece that I will be reading is from Mules and Men by Zora Neale Hurston, an author, anthropologist, and educator. Mules and Men was published in 1935 and is an autobiographical collection of African-American folklore. Zora Neale Hurston conducted research on evolution of Black communities and often included that research in both fiction and nonfiction writing. As I crossed the Maitland-Eatonville Township line, I could see a group on the store porch. I was delighted. The town had not changed. Same love of talk and song, so I drove on down there before I stopped. Yes, there was George, Thomas, Calvin Daniels, Jack and Charlie Jones, Gene Brazel, B. Mosley, and Seaboard, deep in a game of Florida Flip. All those who were not actually playing were giving advice. Bet straightening, they call it. Hello, boys, I hailed them as I went into neutral. They looked up from the game, and for a moment, it looked as if they'd forgotten me. Then B. Mosley said, well, if it ain't Zora Hurston. Then everybody crowded around the car to help greet me. You going to stay a while, Zora? Yep, several months. Hello, Heartstring, Mayor Hiram Lester yelled as he hurried up the street. We heard all about you up north. You back home for good, I hope? Nope. I come to collect some old stories and tales, and I know y'all know a plenty of them, and that's why I headed straight home. What you mean, Zora, them big old lies we tell when we're just sitting around here on the store porch doing nothing? Asked B. Mosley. Yeah, those same ones about old massa and colored folks in heaven and, oh, y'all know the kind I mean. Okay, here's one. In slavery time, there was a colored man that was named John. He went along with old massa everywhere he went. He used to make out he could tell fortunes. One day, him and his old massa was going along, and John said, old massa, I can tell fortunes. Old massa made out he didn't pay him no attention. But when they got to the next man's plantation, old massa told the landlord, I have a nigga that can tell fortunes. So the other man said, that nigga can't tell no fortunes. I bet my plantation and all my niggas against yours that he can't tell no fortunes. Old massa says, I'll take your bet. I bet everything in the world I got on John, because he don't lie. If he say he can tell fortunes, he can tell them. Bet you my plantation and all my niggas against yours and throw in the old woodlot extra. So they called notary public and signed up the bet. Old massa straddled his horse and John got on his mule and they went home. John was in the misery all night, for he knew He was going to be the cause of old Massa losing all he had. So the man on the other plantation had went out and caught a coon and had a big old iron wash pot turned down over it. There was many persons there to hear John tell what was under the wash pot. Old Massa brought John out and told him, say, John, if you tell what's under that wash pot, I'll make you independent, rich. If you don't, I'm gonna kill you because you'll make me lose my plantation and everything I got. John walked round and round the pot, but he couldn't get the least inkling of what was underneath it. Drops of sweat as big as your fist was rolling off John. At last, he gave up and said, well, you got the old coon at last. When John said that, old Massa jumped up in the air and cracked his heels twice before he hit the ground. The man that was betting against old Massa fell to his knees with cold sweat pouring off him. Old Massa said, John, you done won another plantation for me. That's a coon under that pot, sure enough. So he gave John a new suit of clothes and a saddle horse. And John quit telling fortunes after that. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to also read 2 poems and an excerpt. And all of mine are going to come from an author named John Toomer. He was born in 1923. He was a poet, a playwright, and a novelist. His book called Cain included the themes of racism, sexism, and the American dream. And the story was a metaphor about Black people in America being cut down like sugarcane. So this first poem is called November Cotton Flower. Boll weevil's coming, and the winter's cold. Made cotton stalks look rusty, seasons old. And cotton scarce as any southern snow was vanishing, the branch so pinched and slow. It failed its function as the autumn rake. Drought-fighting soil had caused the soil to take. All water from the streams, dead birds were found in wells 100 feet below the ground. Such was the season when the flower bloomed. Old folks were startled, and it soon assumed significance, superstition, something it had never seen before. Brown eyes that loved without a trace of fear, beauty so sudden for that time of year. This next one is called Karma, and it's actually a poem and the excerpt. The poem goes along with the excerpt. And Karma is actually a person. Wind is in the cane. Come along. Cane leaves swaying, rusty with talk, scratching choruses above the guinea pig squawk. Wind is in the cane. Come along. Excuse me. Karma in overalls and strong as any man stands behind the old brown mule driving the wagon home. It bumps and groans and shakes as it crosses the railroad track. She riding it easy. I leave the men around the stove to follow her with my eyes down the red dust road. Nigger woman driving a Georgia chariot down an old dust road. Dixie Pike is what they call it. Maybe she feels my gaze, perhaps she expects it. Anyway, she turns. The sun, which has been slanting over her shoulder, shoots primitive rockets into her mangrove-gloomed yellow flower face. Hi, hip, yip. God has left the Moses people. Get up, get up. Using reins to slap the mule, she disappears in a cloudy rumble at some indefinite point along the road. The sun is hammered into a band of gold. Pine needles like Mazda are brilliantly aglow. No rain has come to take the rustle from the falling sweet gum leaves. Over in the forest, across the swamp, a sawmill blows its closing whistle. Smoke curls up, marvelous web spun by the spider sawdust pile. Curls up and spreads itself pine high above the branch, a single silver band along the eastern valley. A Black boy. You are the most sleepiest man I could ever see. Sleep in beauty, cradled on a gray mule, guided by the hollow sound of cowbells. It heads for them through a rusty cotton field. From down the railroad track, the chug-chug of a gas engine announces that the repair gang is coming home. A girl in the yard of a whitewashed shack, not much larger than the stack of worn ties piled before it. She sings. Her voice is loud. It echoes like rain sweeping the valley. Dust takes the polish from the rails. Lights twinkled in scattered houses. From far away, a sad, strong song. Pungent and composite. The smell of farmyards is the fragrance of that woman. She does not sing, but her body is a song. She is in the forest dancing, torches flare, juju men, gree-gree, witch doctors, torches go out. And then the Dixie Pike has grown from a goat path in Africa to American soil. Thank you. Now, I have the honor of introducing our keynote for today. Caleb, the Negro artist Rainey, is an awesome author, performer, and event producer. Originally from Columbia, Missouri, he holds a BA in English, creative writing from the University of Iowa. His debut book, Look Black Boy, became Amazon's #1 new release in African American poetry and was awarded first prize in the North Street Book Prize. And his second book, Heart Notes, was published in 2019. Caleb co-founded the literary magazine Black Art Real Stories. Plus, he released 2 spoken word albums, a studio version of Look Black Boy, and a performance album titled Heart Notes Live. He was honored last year with an Iowa Author Award from the Des Moines Public Library. His artistic success includes becoming the 2024 recipient of the Iowa Author Award for Poetry. For 3 years in a row, he's been named Best Poet Spoken Word Performer in Cedar Rapids and Iowa City. He won the Des Moines Poetry Slam, the Fire and Ice Poetry Slam twice, and he was a finalist for the 2023 UNESCO City of Literature Global Poetry Slam, and he was ranked 7th worldwide. Caleb's goal is to uplift the Iowa City community, curating a group of spoken word poets through his high school program, Iowa City Speaks, spoken word events like the Mic Check Poetry Fest, and his mentorship, where he offers opportunities to young people. It's called The Next Artist. If you haven't already, be sure to see his new documentary titled The Negro Artist Film Experience, and it was released last year by Nick Heffman and the 7 Times Production Company. Please join me in welcoming Caleb Rainey, the Negro Artist.
Hello, hello, hello. I've been spending some time in Detroit, and they say, "What up, though?" So hello, I am Caleb, the Negro artist, Rainey. I am up here. I'm going to share some poems with you all, tell you a little bit about my life. But first, I just want to say thank you so much for having me here today. It means a lot. It is a beautiful night. Isn't this gorgeous in here? Are we having a good time? Yes, Latasha, thank you. And everyone here at the Senior Center who has made this happen. These spaces are valued even if outside these walls, sometimes our country doesn't see it. So thank you all for being here. I'm gonna share some poems with you. I'll tell you more about my life and who I am, but I like to start a lot of my sets with this first piece because I think it explains a lot of what I write about and kind of why I ended up writing poetry. I don't remember the first time I was called nigger, but I remember the first time I wasn't. I'm 15, new to high school, not sure who I'm gonna be or what people see when they look at me. So I search and find a guy who seems to have all the answers I could copy from. Brad. a white boy with hair on fire, and I couldn't help but admire his confidence. He stood so tall and strong, and I felt so small. So when he talks to me in the parking lot after school, I am desperate to play it cool. And so when he talks to me about the soccer team, I ask him how he got so good, but before he could answer, a car drives by. Obviously from the hood. Trap rattling the pack of black boys in the back, and Brad sighs, rolls his eyes, and says to me, "Man, I hate niggers. Good thing you're not one of them." So I wonder then what I have been. Am I a nigger? See, I wasn't born by the river in a little tent, but I shot my first gun there with my uncle who'd spent plenty of time in the pen. And my granny never passed the 8th grade, but she could still cook up collard greens and fry up chicken like she had a culinary degree. And my granddad, well, he was a dishwasher, but he could still toss you in spades or tunk like you were a little punk. And I played chess with my great uncle, who's been in and out of rehab and tells me all about the life he's had. And I know it's sad, but not all my cousins know their dads. And some of my cousins fight their fears with fists because they're too hard for tears. And some of my cousins yell and can't spell and have seen the inside of a cell, but when they see me, they always wish me well. And some of my cousins made it out to Cali or elsewhere, and I swear God's there. Even with nappy hair and sagging skinny jeans, they always seem to find a way to make ends meet. And all my cousins and I rap along to the songs in the car too loud. And now I find myself wondering what that makes me. Am I a nigger? See, Brad wasn't the first white man to see my tan and assume he knew my hand. I remember coming home from a school event. The day was spent, but a cop made me stop. Asked what was I doing out so late, and I didn't see any hate, but I knew what was at stake, so I apologized. Told him I'd get home soon. And he said, "You better. Only criminals like the light of the moon." And that's when I knew he was afraid of the dark. I remember my junior high crush couldn't go to the dance with me because her father wouldn't take a chance with me, said he'd heard about those black boys. And I guess the cops did too, because what do they do but pull me over for no turn signal? Doesn't that sound a little fickle? Or pull me over for too sharp a turn? Doesn't that sound a little absurd? But their eyes tell no lies when they look at me and see less than. Like my math teacher who kept me in during recess. Told my parents I was dumb because I spent too much time talking to my classmates, erasing the division she creates rather than learning her lesson on how to subtract my presence. Because 0 equals black. And in fact, the cops taught me that when a bullet hit a brother's back in front of my childhood home. And the cops showed up and they blocked off the whole zone like traffic cones, but never moved to help. Only kept us from ourselves, so that nigga died. And I can't lie. I'm afraid to walk at night because I just might learn the answer to the cancer that is inside my head. Am I a nigger? Thank you. So, right, I born and raised in Missouri. And Missouri is interesting. How many of you all like have been to Missouri? Y'all know Missouri? Some of y'all, yeah. So you might be able to attest to this. Missouri is the Midwest that really wants to be the South, so bad. And so for me, what happened is I was growing up as a black boy in Columbia, Missouri, trying to figure out how to exist. And there were these conversations about, whether racism exists or not. I grew up when, Obama was becoming president. They're like, post-racial, right? Like we're having these conversations, and I found poetry as the space where I went, all right, we can argue all day about whether racism exists or not. I mean, like, it's not really an argument, but if you want to be stupid, we could do that. But instead of doing that, if I just tell you the things that have happened to me, if I just show them to you, we can all agree that that's fucked up, right? Like we can all agree that is a problem. And so we can call it whatever we want. We can argue about that. And so poetry became this place where I started having these conversations, where I started going, all right, like if you want to know, this is what I think. This is what's real here for me. And poetry seemed to be one of the only places where people would also listen. And so I said, all right, if this is the way that you can get this message, then this is how I'll cook it up. And that's led me there. But then I moved here to Iowa City, and I didn't think it could get whiter, and but it did. And this time I didn't have my family with me. I didn't have my people, and so it became a really hard time. And I like to share this stat. My first year in at the University of Iowa, out of the thousands of students, right, there were 53 black male students that were first years that were not athletes. 53. I was one of those, right? And I don't know if you could tell, but like, I'm not quick like that. Like, I'm not really an athlete. So it was just me, right? And so I had a really hard time. The transition was tough. And I felt very alone, and I couldn't find anybody, but I got very, very lucky. And I got connected to one black male student who wasn't an athlete, and he also happened to be a writer. And so we kind of held each other through our college career. We had a space to sit and talk about what it meant to be in a town that we don't know with a whole bunch of white people, trying to figure out how to navigate a PWI. And it became this really running joke where we would talk about our blackness as a volume knob, right? Because there were places where they actually really want you to turn up. You know what I'm saying? And we got invited to all the parties. We got invited to every fight. But when it came to being in the residence halls or the classroom or the library, we were asked to turn that down. Be quiet. Please, we don't want to see all of that here. And so what happened is I was thinking about that concept, and we talked about it a lot. And so then I ended up writing this poem that plays with this idea, and it is titled "The New 3/5." Yeah, some of y'all know. All right. In 1787, the 3/5 compromise was created by the inability to recognize the humanity within black people. The denial was legal. Now 3/5 is a cultural compromise. 60% black is all that's authorized for America's acceptability. So if I don't fit into respectability politics, or I don't speak quite right, or my attitude doesn't appeal to you, or my consciousness criticizes your constructs, then I'm too black for you. And that just won't do. So for you, I've got to choose which 3 I'll be and which 2 I'll hide from you. 1, they say dress to impress. But what they subtly stress is that I should conform, assimilate to the norm. So if I sag my pants too low, then I must not know how to respect myself. Because people with wealth wear a belt. But maybe, just maybe, the unforgiving leather reminds us too much of our ancestors. Or maybe we're wearing pants that don't fit because mama had to pay rent and we ain't too proud to wear hand-me-downs. Or maybe, just like anyone else, there's a sense of comfort that's felt when you endorse the course of those who truly do support you. 2, they say that we should speak proper English. because what we speak is just gibberish. It's not possible that it's their understanding that's lacking. It must be our education that's lacking. So when I speak, I don't finish words or use proper terms or perfectly pronounce everything I spit out. So someday you may hear me say, bruh. I was tweaking, what was you on last weekend? Or on Sundays, you may hear my father pray, Lord, give me strength. Or on holidays, you may hear my granny say, give me some sugar. Sugar? But for some reason, when we speak, there seems to be a belief that we must not know how the words are supposed to go. 3, they say we gotta be funny, or focused on the money, or singing and dancing, or running and catching, because that kind of black's not a threat. There's no chance we'd attack if we're too busy being master's pets, so it's expected that we fit into that template. Because a black man reading or a black woman leading hasn't been allowed in so long, we've been conditioned that it's wrong. 4, they say white is beautiful. Look at that nose, so excusable. Look at that hair, so elegant. This is an ideology we're expected to share. I'm supposed to look at my reflection and question why attractiveness has never been attached to us. But when I redefine melanin, I'm able to redefine beauty. And that's when they'll see that my confidence has risen, and it'll blur their vision as they find themselves unsettled and their ideologies disheveled. 5, they say we're better off than we used to be. Like we should be satisfied with a few pleasantries. We used to not even make it to trial, but at least now sometimes we're in court for the denial. So it's preferred if we preach peace and the gradual effect. Because if I pick up a piece and demand the system be checked, then I'm seen as the source of this crooked course. C, I live my life in 3/5 because I inherited this. So if I have one too many characteristics that white people can't sit with, then I'm that black man. And we know black men don't live long around here. So for you, I've got to choose which 3 I'll be and which 2 I'll hide from you. I'm negotiating my humanity. My blackness must be compromised so that you will finally recognize me. Because at least with 3/5, I know that I exist. Thank you. Now, this next poem, I wasn't gonna do it tonight, but y'all read Claude McKay, and so I said, well, let me do a little something, something. So let me find it here, but yes, so this piece, backstory, I don't share this piece that often these days. This piece, I've been doing poetry for a long time. I've been writing about this for over a decade now. I've been trying to tackle some of these hard conversations. And I've kind of made myself known about having those conversations and writing this work, which means the inciting incident for me when it came to activism and wanting to wake up and fight was Eric Gardner's death, which is around 2012, right, 2013. And for those of you who don't know, he was murdered by being choked out in the street. And that radicalized me, right? That moved me at another level, right? So I started doing this work. And for many, many years, I felt like I was making a big difference. I felt like I'd been here in Iowa, I've been sharing poems. I got white people coming up to me being like, I think differently now. You know, I feel like I'm changing the world. And then 2020 happens. And a man dies, is murdered nearly identically, right? Which makes me have to look in the mirror and go, has anything changed? Anything? We're even murdering the same way still. And so I had a really hard time. And I took time to mourn. But at the same time, since I had made myself known I had well-intentioned white people coming up to me going, I can't wait to hear what poem comes next. You must be excited, you got new material. And I thought, oh, I don't think you want what I have to say. Because the thing is I think of myself often as an educator, as someone who's willing to have the hard conversations. But at a time like that, all I could give you was anger. What was left? And so I have this piece here that I want to share with you all. That was my first piece I could write after the murder of George Floyd. This poem is a violent protest. A raging riot set fire to your precincts, your clan sanctuary, steal every bit of life from Target so that our deaths will be decked out in the decor of what's always been on our backs, because didn't we always own Target? Weren't we always fresh to death? Isn't that an oxymoron? Like being black in America, like this poem, like expecting what you deserve from people who benefit from your death. I will not play peace as you play war. Which means these words will press its knee down on your perspective so that your bigotry cannot breathe. It will choke out every bit of privilege until you are calling out for your mama, and I will watch as the ignorance fade from your eyes because I refuse to write another obituary. I have run out of words for grief. There is only room for anger now. It is the only thing that stops the crying. The only thing holding me upright when the world wants me face down on the ground. I'd rather die than live that way. So if I must die, let me die fighting. Thank you. Y'all want to breathe me? I need a breath after that. So we're going to count on 3. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in and let it out. Yo, it's been a hot minute since I performed that poem, and it got me, dang. All right. Whew. So let's change it up. Let's do something different. Let's have some fun here. This is, how many of y'all like board games? How many of y'all like board games? Nice. Me too, I'm a nerd. And so, this piece actually was truly born out of the fact that I just wanted to make a poem about board games. But I think I love it now. So this piece is a call and response poem, which means when I ask you a question, you have to try to answer it. Can you do that? Yes. Now, I want to be clear here. This is the Black History Month ball, right? The Black History ball. This is some of the most black people in one room I've seen in Iowa in a long time. So let's respond like we're black people, all right? Let's go. All right, so like if I ask you a question, can you answer it? Y'all been to church. Come on now. All right, let's do it. This poem is titled Taboo, an Expansion Pack. Now you with me. For those of you who don't know, Taboo is a family game in which you pull a card, and on the top of that card, there is a noun. Now, the objective of the game is to get your teammates to guess that keyword. But the trick is that there's a list of words and phrases you cannot say when describing that keyword. Now, I have created an expansion pack, and I wanted to know, will y'all play with me? Yeah. There it is. All right, then let's do it. Ooh, okay. When you make someone pick cotton but don't give them anything for their efforts, what do we call that? Slavery. Right, I couldn't say black because that was a given. I couldn't say Native Americans because most of them didn't survive. I couldn't say still exists because then some of them would get mad. So we gotta keep going. All right. All right, this was the cause of the last card. Another way to put it is when you treat someone lesser because of their Shade, what do we call that? Racism, right, but I couldn't say black because that would be playing the race card. I couldn't say systematic because we're pretending that doesn't exist. I couldn't say reverse because that actually doesn't exist. And I couldn't say microaggressions because I'm supposed to be happy that they're not calling me the N-word anymore to my face. Sorry, we gotta keep going. All right, this got tough real quick, so hold on tight. Imagine you have a family portrait. It is the kind of painting that is created by your grandfather's God-sent artistic hand. The canvas captures your mother's smile, caring and gentle. Your father's chin, strong and high. You with your siblings, innocent. Simply innocent. Now, imagine I stole it. We all know I stole it, but I sold it for, let's say, $3.3 billion. Now you take me to court, prove that I stole it, and to right my wrongs, I find your painting, torn to unrecognizable shreds, dried dirt caked across the faces, dumped into a dilapidated box, and I hand it to you. Tell you we're even. Tell you jigsaw puzzles build character. Now, what do we call that? Reparations. But I couldn't say the US government because that would sound unpatriotic. I couldn't even say that we still are trying to put the pieces back together because then I would just be playing the victim. I can't even say we have all the pieces because I can't seem to find peace of mind. And if I couldn't come up with the words to say at all, I wouldn't even be allowed to kneel because come on, we're trying to play a game here. But all right, we got time for one more. Y'all still with me? All right, then let's do it. All right, I'm gonna start by naming people who have this. Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Hillary Clinton, what did I say? Taylor Swift, Bill Gates. I'm gonna keep going, but I'm with you. My AP classmates, my college colleagues, most police officers, the judge I have a 33% chance of meeting, the jury that will not be made up of my peers, the news reporters who will cover the story if I don't live to see the courtroom, the people who get called by name, not color. What do we call that? Privilege, but I couldn't say white because they made all the rules. Couldn't say that their parents laid down 5 dice and all they had to do was yell Yahtzee. Couldn't say they started Uno with 2 cards in their hand. Couldn't say they skipped to phase 7 because then they'd say, I just don't know how to play the game. Say I never had a clue. Say it's my fault the mousetrap fell. Say I should have stayed out of trouble. Say I should have avoided the chutes even though they took all the ladders. Say losing must just be in my DNA but never question why winning is in theirs. Say that's just life. But between me and you, I am tired of playing the same games. It's like I was dealt cards against humanity, and to play, I had to pay rent, but there was a monopoly on power, and I couldn't afford it, so I started my way back to the beginning because I was just so afraid. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, what am I supposed to do when my whole life is taboo? Thank you. I think I'm doing okay on time, Latasha. I'm looking at you, just making sure I'm doing okay. She gave me these eyes. I don't know what that means. I done got in trouble. All right, let me get you. I got I'll give you 2 more poems here, I think. Just kidding. Can I do 3 more poems? I don't know what time I got on here. Now I feel bad. They said they want it. Thank y'all. But I'll try to be quick about it. I'll try to be quick. This is just one of my favorite poems currently. Mike, an old white man, looks me in my eyes and asks me why black men don't want to be good dads. I feel my breath catch. My fingers curl into a fist, every muscle in my body, begging to answer with might, with fight. See, there's this home video where my dad is lying on the couch, 6-month-old me on his chest. and I start to cry. And he picks me up, gives me a gentle kiss on the cheek, and holds me upright with a shh, 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 shh. With my feet planted on his chest and his hands holding me upright, he is doing everything he can to keep me calm, to keep the hunger at bay. Now, I watch home videos and I wonder what little black boys are supposed to do when there is no one there to hold them up when the hunger gets to be too much. See, I have never met a black man who wanted to be a bad dad, but plenty that didn't know how to be anything else. Either absent or abusive, they fall short of fatherhood into teachers of trauma. See, my dad's dad worked hard, but sometimes hit hard too. A Southern man, better understood by his hands, and he raised 5 kids this way. And on the day that he raises his fist to his wife, my dad jumps on his dad's back, all lightweight and lanky, pounding fists against father, because my dad knows what's worth fighting for. See, my dad taught me what's worth fighting for. So on my 16th birthday, when I am crying in bed because my girlfriend is carrying our baby inside of her like an unexpected gift, I find the strength to tear up the receipt. No returning to cinder, I will fight for this fatherhood. And even though God's postal service permanently delayed that delivery, I can tell you with complete certainty that I would have died fighting for the title, Good Dad. Thank you. Oh, let me share this poem with y'all right quick. I'm trying to be quick now. I feel bad. Let's see here. Whew. How many of you all know of the phrase misogynoir? Some of us. For those of us who don't know, that's okay. Misogynoir stands for the hatred of black women. So you might know misogyny, right, which is the hatred of women. But misogynoir was a term coined specifically to name the experience that black women go through, because that hatred is actually very specific, right? And so that's what this poem is tackling that. For the first time, I try to type out the word misogynoir. I spell it wrong. My autocorrect changes it to misogyny, and I think, isn't this misogynoir in the making? A black man who doesn't know how to accurately write about life in an outside force that wants to bury the truth. I keep thinking about all the times I misspelled a situation due to sexism. All the times the world deleted blackness from the sentence, how we were both wrong. I'm sorry I never called it what it was. Never took the time to correct myself. Can't expect the powers that be to lead me. I'm sorry that my passiveness passed on pain to you. There is not enough white space on any page for me to say all the sorries black women deserve from me. But the draft of this life isn't done yet, and I will revise the next lines until they spell out the truth. A real apology comes with changed behavior, and I will live with the right words, type out this life with the reality that black women birthed us all. And I will practice and pronounce every name perfectly. Let each syllable be a party on my tongue. Aaliyah, Amani, Nevaeh, Denisha. I will name the names others want us to forget. Michelle Cusseau, Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor. I will put a stop to the disrespect, period. Give credit to the culture black women made for all of us. Recognize the words that we love were gifts from Black women. Yes, fears, okay, right? All of those are rewritings of Nicki, Beyonce, and Cardi. That every party with a twerk session comes from the history of Black women going to work, putting in that work, cultivating dances, dance crazes, and creativity. That karaoke isn't karaoke unless someone is singing Aretha's Respect, because can't nobody proclaim that kind of power better than a Black woman spelling R-E-S-P-E-C-T. And if we read closely, we'll see signatures from Maya Angelou, Toni Morrison, Andre Lorde, and more in the margins of our favorite books. Look in the mirror and press our edges, box our braids, and condition our hair just like Madam C.J. Walker would want us to. Watch as Black women make the history we need. From Ida B to Michelle Obama, Kamala Harris, and Ketanji Brown Jackson. Recognize that we are only here because of what they gave us. So now I can spell MISOGYNOIR, but keep it far from me. It's time that I defend and celebrate. Thank you. All right, I got one last one for y'all. All right, y'all still with me? Hell yeah. All right, this is my favorite piece to end a slam, or not a slam, a set with. This is not a slam, but that would be different poems. Yeah. This is also my moment to plug here. I am selling books, CDs, stickers, sweatshirts, all out there. I take cash, card, Venmo, PayPal, all the ways that you can pay, I can take. You know what I'm saying? So I'm out there, but even if not, feel free to just chat with me. You might be like, I'm broke out here. I just got to this part. You know, that's fair, but I still love to talk with the people. I love to do this work because I love to be in the room with us. I like this. This is live. This is a moment that's real for both of us, all of us, right? So happy to have conversations after this. I am not a biter. Don't be shy. Here's this last piece. What you need to hear. 1, you matter. I know some days you feel like a spider, a lone weaver sewing life together on your own, and some days you only catch crap, or worse, nothing. So you go to bed wondering if your web is meant to be a coffin, if you're even meant to be a spider, but I need to tell you, wait until the morning dew. Wait until you see sunlight reflect off bowls of water on strands you didn't even know were there. Those are the strands that connect us. That connect you to me. They're what holds us all together. We need them. We need you. So every night, look at your web and await the sunlight. 2, you have power. I know everything tells you you don't. The media, the police, the bosses, the teacher, the mirror, they say you can't control anything. Say that the history haunting you, or the system shackled around your ankles, or the trauma noose tight around your neck should direct your every step, but I need to tell you, they're wrong. You can make each moment a rebellion, and I dare you dance where you laugh at every chance. Trust in advance, smile at first glance. You can lift the weight of oppression by choosing connection. Thwart trauma with truth-telling. Shatter systems with sincerity. You can change the world. You simply have to fight. 3, we matter. Trade your mirror in for a window and see the beauty we all have to offer. 4, you are not finished. Who you are now is not who you will be. You are growing in God's garden among us, and in time, we all bloom. In time, we all bloom. And soon, you will bloom brave, petals soft and passionate colors. Vibrant, you will be so spectacular, even God stops to smell. 5. I love you. 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 Thank you.
Hey. No, thank you, Caleb. That was wonderful. Thanks for your powerful words and for inspiring us all. And ultimately, thanks for your vulnerability, because that was just, that was from your heart and soul, and we really felt that. All right, and also a resounding thank you to Kylan, Sophia, and Dr. Berry as well. Yes, yes. And now, yes, round of applause. All right. And before we move forward, I'd like to take a quick moment to express our deepest gratitude to some remarkable people and organizations that made tonight possible. A big thank you to our presenting sponsor, U.S. Bank. I don't know if you got any cute pictures out there on that backdrop, so try to get a few before the night is over. Branch manager Morgan Dunn, the City of Iowa City, Taylor CPAs and Advisors PLLC, and CEO Aminata Taylor. Village Caregiving and Executive Director Lonnie Lee. Additionally, our phenomenal hosts, the Iowa City Senior Center, staff, members of the OMGers, the Original Mature Groovers group, and countless volunteers for their time, talent, and dedication. We also want to recognize our elected officials in the audience, and I can't see your faces because of the light, but I see that Janice Weiner is here. I don't know if you're still here. Okay, I do see you back there. Thank you so much. And volunteering tonight, Iowa City Council member Laura Burgess. All right, yes, Laura. Thank you also to Mayor Bruce Teague, who was unable to attend but assisted in sponsoring tickets for this event. We also want to thank again our amazing vendors, including Island Vibes. That food was, y'all threw down. Bliss Balloon Company, Alex Body Lighting and Sound, Back Pocket Brewery, Sugar Peach Fish and Chicken. And because I didn't know if I was cutting a rug at the Cotton Club or stomping at the Savoy, can I get a hand for Curtis Taylor Quartet? And now it's time for the grand event I know that some of you have been waiting for, the Harlem Renaissance Fashion Show. All right, and I've been seeing some really great style in here, but we're about to turn it up a little bit. And I'm turning the mic over to our host for the fashion show, the lovely Diggy Smith. Can we have Diggy Smith up here? All right.
Welcome to the second annual Black History Ball. It's just so beautiful to be here. Oh, wow, hello. But yes, it's so beautiful to be in the presence of such beautiful people and also on Black History Month. The Blacks. Oh, God, I love them. Oh, God, just chocolatey and all kinds of flavors. I love it. Well, all right. I'd like to thank all the sponsors, and I'd like to thank the main person, my homegirl, Simone. Love her to death. Yeah, go ahead. Y'all can clap. Yeah. That's my homegirl. Clap for my homegirl. Yes. All right, let's get this ready to go. Dana Egan is a fashion enthusiast, currently based in Coralville, Iowa. She aims to use fashion, visual arts, and dance in her activism and creative activities, and often centers her lived experience as a Jamaican American queer creative. Yes. So elegant. I love the heart. girl. I like those heels. No, are those 6 inches or 5 inches? I don't know. Yeah. That's great. Yeah, it's just elegant, just pure elegance. Oh, let me see it. Ooh, I love the top. Oh, with the matching bag in the back, it's so cute. Yeah, you better pose. Go ahead. Don't be shy. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Boom. Okay, look back. I like the look back. Ooh. Ooh, come on, flowers. It looks like springtime. Yeah, I can't wait for spring to come, I swear. Oh, and the little bows. Oh, I love it. You better strut your stuff. Jean is a designer, model, and overall creative who pulls all of her inspiration from her daily life as an autistic disabled Black woman, founding her work of the human experience and the emotions that come with it. That's hair. Oh, okay. Wait a minute now. Got the beads on it and everything. Just, ooh. Ooh, it's giving Tyra Banks. Mm-hmm. Modest. I love it. Ooh. Love a good shimmer. One thing about Black people, they look good in orange. Yes. Yes, mamas. It's the locks for me. Yes. Giving Eartha Kitt. Ah. So whimsical, so majestic. Better work it. Oh, I love it. You better strut. Yeah. Oh God, it's very Lauryn Hill-esque, you know? Yeah. You better, come on now. You better walk away and walk. Yeah. All right now, don't hurt him. Breyana Cooper is a couture brand that focuses on creating one-of-one garments of upcycled materials. I would like to say I just recently became an author as of last week, right? As of last week, yes. We are selling our books as of right now, today, yes. Our book is about a lot of love, a lot of hate within relationships that have to do with everyday life, at least in my opinion. There's a lot of greed, anger, lust. Yeah, we're adults. We can handle that. Yeah. Oh, God. But I think the best thing about it is being around a lot of Black creatives who understand me, because, you know, I'm queer, if you couldn't tell. But yeah, there's a queer, there's female, there's masculine, there's all of it in this book, and I'm proud to be a part of it. It makes me really happy. I think the first time I ever did poetry, I think it was 13, and I was talking about some emo stuff. Like, I was one of them emo kids, child. Had green hair, no one saw it, it was fine. It was okay. But yeah, no, there is a poem in there where it talks about my recent breakup with a, well, shall I say, right, very careful I am. They were a choice that I made. Let's just say that, yeah. They were a choice that I made, but I used them as an influence because, yeah, you know, you irritated my soul, but I still love you. Not in like a I want you back way, more like a you can stay there. Yeah, very much so. It felt great. Breyana. Okay. Breyana Cooper is a couture brand that focuses on creating one-of-one garments of upcycled materials. These pieces are representative of what it means to take what's from your past and transform it into something which expresses who you are now. Ooh, I like this coat. I love a good cottage core moment. Oh man. It's like, Yeah. J.A.H.N Designs is a fusion of creativity, heritage, and stability, drawing on the influence of 3 generations to express art and fashion, named after herself and her 2 grandmothers. giving London Tipton. Remember her? Oh, God. Yeah, okay. You in this purse. I'm gonna need to buy that off you. Yeah. Yes. Oh, I love a good shimmer. Ah, don't look at me. Oh my God. Ooh. But you know what? It is giving Cowboy Carter. Congrats to Beyonce. Oh, you better walk. Yes. Yes. Lovely, lovely. Ooh. Okay. All right now, Mr. Sir. Oh, look at the stitch. Oh, wow. Oh, God, I love a good stitch moment, you know? Not Lilo and Stitch, but like actual Stitch. Yeah. Oh, all right now, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah. What? Oh, yeah. Yeah, GQ can never. Yeah. Just suave, just debonair. Yeah. Ooh, what's next? Ooh, oh, I love a good faux fox moment. Yes. I love when a woman can wear some braids, you know? And just wear them down. Yes, mamas. Yeah. Is this Janet Jackson? Yeah. Oh my God. All right, y'all. Okay. All right, y'all. That was all of our models and designs. I would like everybody to come out and show themselves. Come on, y'all. Yeah. Come on, don't stop now. Go ahead. Give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up. Go ahead, Dana, Breyana, John, and Eye to Eye. Thanks you for our lovely models. Period. And they, hold up, wait a minute, hold on. And Simone. There you go, yeah. That's my twin in them, yeah. hold on, wait, hold on. Thank y'all so much.
Now I have to have a handheld. And that's a hard act to follow. Now I can't just come up here and kind of have to like, okay.
All right.
She's wearing some Amazon and the side of Target. And, oh, but we don't wear those no more. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, that was excellent. Then y'all had some Kendrick going on. I was like, I'll have to pop out and show them. Okay. Now I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay. Wasn't that spectacular? Yes. That was a beautiful way to embody the style and creativity that defined the Harlem Renaissance. And at this time, I'd like to welcome someone who has been an enduring advocate for progress in our community and the architect of this illustrious event, the unparalleled Latasha DeLoach. Did you want to?
Good evening, everyone. How you all enjoyed this? Really? When I tell you I have stuff in my head, and when it comes out like this, it's, incredible. And so shout out to my staff, because I'll be like, we gonna do this. They're like, okay, ostrich feathers, all right. Let's look online and find them. I'm like, absolutely, we gonna find them. So, but welcome. So glad you all have been here. The food's been good, the atmosphere, and they killed that fashion show. I'm crazy, y'all. So I was like, how about we have a fashion show? They're like, I don't know, y'all. I've never curated a fashion show, so I'm very thankful for Simone for coordinating that. And they all did those beautiful pieces based off of that time era, as well as my dress has been designed for that time era as well. And the artist, she's unable to be here. She just recently got a job in Kansas City, so she couldn't come. But I'm the Senior Center coordinator here, so I'm the director of this facility and a proud architect of tonight's evening. So I'm just so thankful to be here, and I wanted to begin with heartfelt gratitude to you all, especially to our sponsors. I know we've already shouted you all out, but Aminata Morgan, Shelly, I think Shelly already left, and so many others. Your support, monumental, huge, thank you. But I also want to personally thank all the folks who helped make this night happen, to everyone who purchased a ticket. Your belief in this event and in the work that we're doing here at the Senior Center, and our love to bring out different cultures here at the Senior Center, your support, it helps us to continue to move forward. So showing up tonight, if this was an empty room, I really would feel some type of way. I would. But to our beautiful artists, thank you for infusing this evening with your incredible talent. I mean, y'all, they were sewing. Some of y'all don't know how to sew a button on clothes. So these young women are still sewing, bringing in that design. I'm so excited. And if you haven't, what I would like to tell you about quickly is the art. If you came in through the third floor, where is Shanti? Shanti, Roundtree right here. If you came through that third floor, it was a mirror at the beginning of that exhibit, and at the end, Shanti is just incredible and went to, what country was that? Yes, she went to Warrior Island and took these beautiful pictures. So she has pictures that also match fabrics. So please check that out on your way out. Also, the art that is up, I'm going to talk about that in a second, it will be up for the entire month. So you will be able to come back. And I also want to say that any of the pictures that have not been
bid on today, there are prices to them. We will have them up this week, and you can come back during the month, and you don't have to bid on them. It'll just have a actual price attached to it. So we would love for you all to take some of this beautiful work home. My gratitude goes out to Muhammad Ali, who did the watercolor here of his time. He's from Sudan, and some of this beautiful art here is from him. And I want to do a special shout out to Rendelo. If you all know Lauren, my daughter Lauren, this is her piece. You can kind of see it right here by the door. That is her piece for bid. So she's our youngest artist tonight, and very proud of her. Her first art show. So very proud of her. And of course, I have to give special recognition to J. Berry, or I call her Mama Jean, because she just is incredible. And I had this random idea about, I'm like, I want to have some 1920s, 30s, era type pictures. And she brought and she created some for us, as well as, if you see the lady that's over here on the wall, that is supposed to be me. So you can't bid on that. That ain't for sale. But you can buy a print at the end of the month. So she told me, she said, well, you're a big sexy woman, so I had to draw a picture. I said, you're right. You're not wrong. My cost was a big hug, maybe a couple, and some shock and awe. But I do want to shout out Sankofa Outreach Connection. Some of the members were not able to be here, but Monique knows in her kitchen a couple years ago is where this idea of a Black History Ball came from. And so this is coming from the brainchild of Black women who, y'all know, our capes is off, but y'all know why I look like this. Y'all know, because we geniuses. Okay. So anyways, I wanted to make sure I thank all my people, especially my OMGers, for coming every single week and just being incredible. I just really appreciate everybody. Did you want to say anything else, Monique? Oh, she got one more thing she wants to say. I'm out. Good night. I love y'all. I love y'all.
The beautiful, illustrious Latasha DeLoach. And so we want folks to dance, to mingle, but when you're traveling home, I want to invoke my elders and say, I wish you some traveling mercies and stay safe. But I also want to say that Black history is forever. So I want to leave you with that. So you all have a wonderful night, and thank you so much for coming out.